My name is Ashley. I'm 29 years old, and I work in a creative job at a video game company in Milwaukee. At first glance, my life might look perfect and carefree, but the truth is very different. My family situation is quite difficult. A year ago, the company where my father worked suddenly went bankrupt. Because of this, our family lost an important source of income. I had to stop living alone in Milwaukee and move back to my hometown to live with my parents and younger sister, Emma. Since then, my salary has become the main support for the whole family. My parents and Emma all rely on me to keep things going. One day, I was in the kitchen when my mom started a conversation. "Ashley, Emma said she wants pork steaks for dinner tomorrow night," she said. I sighed quietly. "Mom, we're running out of money for food," I replied. "We don't even have enough to buy pork. Can you help stretch the food budget a little more?" My mother gave me a worried look. Before she could answer, Emma jumped in. "Big sis, you're not giving us enough money for food," she said with a frown. I was shocked. "What are you talking about?" I said. "I'm already giving $4,000 every month. That should be plenty." Emma rolled her eyes and replied, "Prices have gone up. $4,000 isn't enough for a family of four anymore." I felt anger rising inside me. "Just $4,000? I said sharply. "If you think that's not enough, why don't you get a job and help with the food expenses?" My mom quickly stepped in to defend Emma. "It's not easy to find a job right now. Try to understand, Ashley. I feel sorry for her." I kept quiet, but inside I was frustrated. I thought to myself, Emma says she's job hunting, but she doesn't even try. She just stays home every day doing nothing. What's worse, the money I give for the whole family is partly being handed to Emma by my mom as pocket money. I had enough. "If it's really this hard to manage," I said, "maybe we should sell this house and move to Mom's hometown. Maybe things would be cheaper there, and we could all try to find work." Before I could even finish my sentence, both Emma and Mom shouted, "No way. Right now, I feel stuck. I want to support my family, but I also feel like I'm being taken for granted. I work hard, but instead of help or appreciation, I get complaints. I'm trying to hold everything together, but it's not easy. Maybe one day, things will get better, but for now, I'm just doing my best to survive and take care of everyone. I don't want to go back to that hometown," my mom said right away when I suggested it. She didn't even think about it for a second. My idea was that we could move to Madison, where my grandmother runs a popular French restaurant. It's a busy place, and we could probably find work there. Plus, we'd get to eat delicious pizza and pasta for free. That would make life a little easier for all of us. But there was one problem. Our grandmother is very strict. She has high standards, especially when it comes to making pizza. She becomes even stricter in the kitchen. My mom doesn't like that at all. She doesn't want to do the hard work that comes with making pizza every day. That's why she doesn't want to go. My dad always says the same thing. "Why do we have to rely on your grandmother so quickly? We should all be doing our part here. Asking for her help so soon is just being spoiled." When I hear that, I feel like shouting. How can I be the one who's spoiled? I'm the only one who is actually working and paying for everything. My sister Emma, who is already 27 years old, still refuses to get a job. I suggested that Emma look for a part-time job. Many people do that while searching for full-time work. It would help a lot, even just a few hours a day. But my mom quickly said no. Emma helps around the house. She doesn't have time to work outside. That really made me upset. What housework does she even do?" I asked. "I've never seen her clean or cook." Then my dad added his opinion. "Emma carries the plates to the sink after meals. She does her own laundry. Sometimes she even gives me a shoulder massage." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. That's not real housework. A little kid could do those things. Meanwhile, I wake up early every single day to cook breakfast for everyone and pack lunch for my dad. I also pay for almost everything in the house, including bills and taxes. But no matter what I do, my parents have always treated Emma better than me. Even when we were kids, she was their favorite. I'm considered good-looking too, but Emma has a more elegant face and a sweeter personality. That's why they always gave her special treatment. Some people might say I should just move out and live on my own. I wish it were that simple. But there are a lot of reasons I can't leave yet. So for now, I stay, even though it's stressful every day. Then something strange happened. A few days passed, and I noticed Emma hadn't come home. At first, I thought she was just out like usual. But the next day, and the one after that, she still wasn't back. That's when I started to get suspicious. One evening, as I returned home and walked toward my room, I overheard my parents talking in the living room, and what they said completely shocked me. "I can't wait for the souvenirs from Maldives," my mom said with a smile. "Emma is so lucky. She must be lying on a beautiful beach right now, eating at fancy restaurants and relaxing." "Yeah," my dad added, "maybe next time we should all go together." I was confused and interrupted their conversation. "Wait, what are you talking about? Emma is in Maldives?" They looked at me like I was the one out of the loop. "Yes," they said calmly, "she left a few days ago. Didn't you know?" I was completely shocked. But how could she afford a trip like that? She doesn't have a job and no money. I've even been skipping shopping and fun just to save money. My mom waved it off. "Oh, she won the trip in a sweepstakes. You know how lucky Emma is with these things." I couldn't believe it. Emma had won a trip to Maldives, and I didn't even know. I decided to accept it for the moment, even though it felt strange. The next day, something even more unexpected happened. While I was at work, I got a call from a credit card company that I barely ever use. The person on the phone told me there were large charges made on my card in the last 4 days. I felt my heart drop. "What do you mean?" I asked nervously. "How much money was spent?" The customer service agent replied, "Around $20,000. I was shocked. I hadn't used that card at all recently. I immediately had a bad feeling. My thoughts went straight to Emma. She was the only one not at home. Could she have used my card? I quickly called her. When she answered, she sounded cheerful.
"Hey, sis.
"I thought you were calling to ask what kind of souvenirs you wanted." "Don't joke with me," I said firmly. "Did you use my credit card without asking me?" She paused for a second and then said, "Oh, you noticed? I didn't think you'd mind. It was just a small mistake." "A mistake? You spent $20,000 in 4 days. That's not a small mistake, Emma. That's stealing." She didn't sound sorry at all. "Come on, Ashley. It's not a big deal. We're family. These things are different between family members." I was furious. "No, they're not. You can't just take someone's card and spend that much money. That's a crime." Emma didn't seem to care. Well, the flight and hotel were free. But everything else, food, shopping, and tours, wasn't. I had to pay for all of that myself somehow. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She had no guilt. I felt angry, hurt, and betrayed. I had trust in my family, and now I had to deal with the mess Emma had made with my money. My sister Emma had added expensive restaurants, shopping for brand-name goods, and fancy transportation to her Maldives trip. Before she even realized it, she had spent over $20,000. Actually, the total had gone beyond $22,000. That kind of spending is not okay, no matter how you look at it. I asked her, "What were you thinking? How could you spend that much money?" But instead of feeling sorry, she just laughed and said, "Why are you so angry? I only used your credit card because it was about to expire. Don't worry, sis. I'll leave the payment to you." Then she hung up the phone, sounding cheerful like it was no big deal. I was completely speechless. I couldn't believe what I had just heard. After that, she tried to contact me several times, but I ignored every message and call. Then she left a voicemail on my answering machine that said, "It looks like I messed up." I was being really silly. I couldn't help but laugh when I heard that. It was so ridiculous. That evening, when I came home from work, my parents rushed to greet me. "Welcome back," they said, acting like everything was fine. But I wasn't in the mood. "How can you act so calmly?" I asked. "Emma is in trouble because she used my card." Of course, I stopped it. They looked shocked. "Why would you stop the card? Now she's stuck in Maldives with no money." I stayed calm. The moment I got the call from the credit card company about strange purchases, I canceled the card. That's the normal thing to do. Emma must have tried to use the card again and realized it didn't work. Since I wasn't answering her calls, she ended up asking our parents for help. But my parents still didn't understand. Your sister is having a hard time overseas. Aren't you going to do something to help? Just because we're family doesn't mean it's okay to steal, I said. She used my card and spent $20,000 without asking. That's not something you just ignore. My mom crossed her arms and said, "How can you be so cold? Maybe it's because of that attitude you never get to go on fun trips." She was even planning to buy souvenirs for all of us. What's the problem with that? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You think that makes it okay? I said. You two are living in a dream. Are you even listening to yourselves? Then I pulled out my phone and played the voicemail Emma had left earlier. Turn the card back on, you miser. Mom and Dad's cards are maxed out already. I can't believe you won't even give me pocket money for a trip. How useless can you people be? As soon as my parents heard that message, their faces changed. They looked shocked and embarrassed. They quickly ran to their room to check their own credit cards. A few minutes later, I heard them screaming in panic. When I went to see what was happening, they looked furious, finally realizing the truth about Emma. I still couldn't believe that Emma used my credit card without even asking me. After everything I've done for her, this felt like a deep betrayal. Not only did she use my credit card, but she also took my bank book and some of my other cards. I felt hurt and angry. Trying to keep my cool, I said with a cold voice, "Oh, wasn't Emma just being kind? Didn't you both say she used my card to buy souvenirs for the family and have fun on our behalf?" My parents looked uncomfortable. "Well, yes, that's what we thought," my mom replied. "But the important thing is our money is safe, right?" I could see their attitude shift as soon as they knew their savings were untouched. That made me even more disappointed. Their concern wasn't about what Emma did. It was about their own money. I responded sarcastically, "If that's the case, why don't you raise the credit card limit? Go ahead and repay it quickly so she can use it again. Let the kind, souvenir-buying Emma continue living her dream." My dad sighed deeply. "We can't. We don't have any savings left. What are we going to do? Emma can't eat or drink now that the card has been stopped." After a moment of silence, my father suddenly bowed his head. "Ashley, let's start fresh. We promised to work together as a family this time. Please help Emma." I was shocked. "Wait, does that include me too?" I asked. My mother, clearly moved by my father's words, knelt down beside him. "Ashley, I'm sorry. I'll change too. I promise to do my part to support the family from now on. I won't take your efforts for granted again." I was confused by their sudden apology. I didn't know what to say. A small laugh escaped my lips as I thought about how strange everything had become. Later, when my parents left to check something in their room, I pulled out a credit card I had hidden away. It hadn't been used and still worked. I held it up and said, "Why don't you give this card to Emma? Go ahead, take a family trip. Enjoy yourselves." My parents were overjoyed. They quickly called Emma to share the good news, and the three of them began planning the trip right away. I even helped them book their flight tickets to Maldives. I smiled quietly as I watched them get ready. Then I picked up my phone and called a special number. 5 days later, they returned home. Emma smiled and said, "Big sis, thank you for letting us go to Maldives. It's rare for you to come meet us at the airport. Did you come to get your souvenirs?" She laughed and added, "Oops, I didn't buy anything. Sorry." It was clear they had completely forgotten how badly they treated me just days before. They were back to their usual selves. That's when I knew it was time to go through with my plan. I had been planning everything for a while, and now I could barely hide how excited I was. "It looks like you had a great time," I said. "Was that your last big, happy moment?" Emma looked confused. "What do you mean, last?" I smiled and said, "Actually, I've decided to sell the house. I made the choice recently and already packed up our things. They've been sent to the new place, and someone is on the way to pick us up." My parents and Emma looked shocked. They noticed the for sale sign posted in front of the house and stared at it in disbelief. "What is this?" my mom shouted. "Did you really sell our house? What's happening?" Seeing their surprised faces, I explained more. "There's a real estate agent I know. He's a friend from my university. He's been interested in buying this house and land for a long time. He kept asking, but I always said no before. I didn't want to sell because I thought it would be cheaper to keep living here. The house wasn't even built by our grandmother, but I still wanted to hold on to it." I took a deep breath before continuing. "But recently, I changed my mind. I realized that selling this house and living on my own again would give me freedom, both financially and emotionally. So, while you were away on your trip, I made my final decision and told the agent to go ahead and sell it." "You can't just sell the house without our permission," my dad yelled. "This house belongs to me. You had no right to do that." My parents were angry, but I stayed calm. "You all seem very full of energy now," I said. "But what if I told you the house and land are actually in my name?" Their eyes widened in shock. "Dad," I continued, "do you remember when you couldn't pay the property taxes a few years ago? You came to me for help, and I agreed, on one condition: that we change the house registration to my name." My dad's face changed as he remembered. "Oh, that's right." I nodded. "That's why I didn't move out before. The house was already mine, but I didn't want to cause problems. I waited for the right moment to get you all out peacefully. You were always home, so it was hard to make any big moves. But then, the perfect chance finally came, while you were enjoying your vacation in Maldives. When I sent you all to Maldives just as planned, the house was finally empty. That gave me the perfect chance to sell the house and the land. Oh, and like I said earlier, I added, all the luggage has already been sent to the new place, so don't worry. Someone will be here soon to pick you up." "Pick us up?" my mom asked, confused. "Yes," I smiled. "Grandma is waiting for you. She's excited to see everyone again." "Wait,
Grandma?
you mean my mom?" my dad asked.
Yes.
I talked to her, and she agreed to take all of you in. She also said she would help knock some sense into you. That's why I sent the luggage to her house. So get ready. You'll all be making pizza and doing cleaning every day from now on." My parents and Emma were shocked. "We can't go live with Grandma," Emma cried. "That's right," my mom agreed. "We don't want to go." I shrugged. "That's fine. Do whatever you want. But without a house or jobs, how will you live? And don't forget, you still have to pay off that huge credit card bill." "What do you mean?" my dad said. "The card is in your name." "Oh, you thought it was mine," I said with a grin. "You should check again. It's not in my name." My mom, now nervous, pulled out the card I had given her earlier and looked at it carefully. Her face went pale. "Wait, this card is in Emma's name?" "That's right," I said. "I found that card in Emma's room. It was the first card she got when she briefly started working. But she quit the job soon after and never used the card again." Emma gasped. "I spent so much. What am I going to do now?" "What are you going to do?" I repeated. "Since your name is on the card, you have to pay it back. And you all better behave and work hard at Grandma's place. Don't cause her any trouble." Emma tried to argue, but in the end, she had no choice. Our parents, out of options, waited quietly for Grandma to arrive. Soon, Grandma came to pick them up. Together, they went back to her house and restaurant in Madison. There, under her strict supervision and with the help of the experienced restaurant staff, they were forced to work hard, cleaning, cooking, and making pizzas, sometimes even crying from the effort. Over time, Emma paid back the $120,000 she had charged to my card under Grandma's orders. Even though I had planned to recover my losses by selling the house, Grandma helped me get back the money I had spent on supporting them over the years. She even arranged for part of my parents' wages to be sent to me. After everything was settled, I moved into a small apartment closer to my job. Now I live alone, and my days are peaceful. In the evenings, I enjoy standing on the balcony, watching the sunset over the city. After everything that had happened, I finally felt a sense of relief. The heavy pressure I had carried for so long seemed to lift from my shoulders. But at the same time, I felt a little lonely. Just then, my phone rang. I looked at the screen and saw it was Grandma calling. I hesitated for a moment, then answered. "Hello, Grandma," I said. She asked gently, "Are you doing okay?" "Yes, I'm fine," I replied. "That's good to hear," she said. "Actually, I wanted to talk about Emma and your parents. They've started to change, especially Emma. She's now helping out with the work here. And your parents, they seem to be thinking more about their actions too." Grandma paused, then continued in a kind voice. "Ashley, I know things have been hard. I can understand how you feel. Sometimes family can feel like a burden. But family is also something we should try to support, even when it's not easy. I hope that, one day, you'll be able to forgive them." I listened closely to her words. I could hear some sadness and worry in her voice, but there was also strength. She was serious. "There's no rush," she added. "Take your time. Think it over, until your heart feels ready." I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. "Thank you, Grandma. I'll take my time and think about everything carefully," I said, then slowly ended the call. I looked out the window. The sun was setting behind the tall buildings, and the city was slowly getting darker. In that quiet moment, so many feelings filled my heart. I was still hurt and upset, but for the first time in a while, I felt a small spark of hope. Back in my room, my eyes landed on a photo of our family. In it, a younger Emma and I were smiling with our parents. We all looked so happy. I remembered those simple, joyful times and thought, if only we could go back to those days. But then reality brought me back to the present. As time passed, my life slowly found its rhythm again. At work, I was put in charge of a new project, and in my personal life, I began to feel happier and more at peace. One evening, after a long day of work, my phone rang again. The number was unfamiliar, and I hesitated before answering. "Hello, this is Ashley," I said. "Hi, it's me, Emma." Her voice was different, softer, a little shaky. Nothing like the proud and confident Emma I once knew. Surprised, I asked, "Emma, is something wrong?" "I'm sorry for calling suddenly," she said. "But I want to see you. I want to talk in person." Her tone was quiet and sincere. I could tell something had changed. "Why do you want to meet?" I asked gently. Emma took a breath and said, "Big sis, I want to say sorry. Truly sorry. A phone call isn't enough. I need to say it face to face." Her voice was trembling but honest. And in that moment, I realized maybe Emma had really started to grow. "I want to meet you in person to say sorry, truly and honestly," Emma said. Her voice was calm and serious. I didn't say anything right away. I just listened quietly. "If it's too hard for you to see me, I understand," she added. "What matters most to me is how you feel." There was a short silence, and then I finally replied, "Okay. Let's meet next Thursday at 4 p.m. at the cafe in front of the station." "Really? That makes me so happy." "Thank you, big sis," Emma said, clearly relieved. After we hung up, I sat quietly and took a deep breath. My thoughts were all over the place. I wasn't sure if I had made the right decision, but deep down, I hoped something good might come from meeting her. When Thursday came, I arrived at the cafe earlier than planned. As I walked in, my heart started beating faster. I felt nervous, unsure of what to expect. I sat at the table, waiting, watching the clock as the minutes slowly passed. Then, just a little after 4 p.m., the door to the cafe opened and Emma walked in. She looked very different from before. Her face had no makeup, and her clothes were plain but neat. Most of all, her eyes looked serious. There was something new in her expression, something honest and changed. She walked slowly to my table and sat down. "Big sis," she said softly, "I'm really, really sorry." In that moment, I could feel something was truly different about her. I didn't know what to say at first. "Emma," I began, but she continued, holding back tears. "While working at Grandma's house, I realized how much I've always leaned on you. I never thought about how hard things were for you. I always took you for granted." Tears rolled down her cheeks as she spoke. "I finally understood," she said. "You gave up so much for us. You always put the family first, even when it was hard for you. I never saw that clearly until now. As she talked, Emma told me how her time at Grandma's house had opened her eyes. She shared how tough the work had been and how she had started to understand the things I had gone through all these years. She talked about her past behavior, her relationship with our parents, and the mistakes she had made. I just sat there quietly, listening. Her words were honest. Little by little, the anger and pain I had held onto for so long began to melt away. As Emma kept speaking, I could feel that something had truly changed. Not just in her, but maybe in me too. I could feel the heavy feelings inside me slowly start to fade. The pain and anger I had been carrying didn't feel so strong anymore. "Thank you, Emma," I said softly. "I understand how you feel now, and I truly accept your apology." After that, we spent several hours talking. We spoke openly about everything, what had happened recently, how we were doing, and the struggles we were each facing. That time together felt really meaningful. It was the first big step toward fixing our relationship. As we were saying goodbye, Emma handed me an envelope with a shy smile. "This is just the beginning," she said. "But I want to do everything I can to make things right." I opened the envelope and saw it was filled with money she had earned by working hard at Grandma's house. Holding it, I could feel that she had truly changed. My heart felt warm, and I was proud of the progress she had made. A few months later, I went to visit Grandma's house again. This time, my parents were there too. We sat down and had another honest conversation. For the first time, I heard real apologies from them. I could tell they were starting to understand how their actions had affected me. Like Emma, they were slowly growing and changing. That evening, we had dinner together as a family. It was the first time in a long while that it felt peaceful and warm. We shared stories, laughed a little, and simply enjoyed being around each other. I knew I wasn't ready to forgive everything right away, but seeing them all trying to do better gave me hope. Hope that, step by step, we could build a better future together. Before I left to go home, Grandma pulled me aside and spoke to me gently. "Ashley, you've become a strong person," she said. "But just as important as your strength is the kindness you've held on to through all of this. Don't ever forget that kindness is your greatest strength." She hugged me tightly, and in that moment, I couldn't hold back my emotions. Tears rolled down my cheeks. I felt something shift in my heart. That day, I realized this might be the start of a new kind of relationship with my family, one built on honesty, respect, and care. And for the first time in a long time, I felt truly light, as if a heavy weight had been lifted from my heart.